Hi, my name is Andrew Velis. Twitter handle Avelis, Avelis. Yeah, yeah. Um, Raise your hands of people who know what that is. Good. I'm a San Francisco native, and this machine or car has fought with me many, many years with my car. And when I was going through college, I've had my fair share of parking tickets as well as tows from that thing. And one of the interesting things that San Francisco released is a small subset, very small subset of data that would let you know when street cleaning would be occurring in San Francisco. I've gotten many fair share of parking tickets because I missed the street cleaning time. And I've done a fair amount of work over the past year, well, working full time, to try to get this off the ground. I figure I come to iOSDevCamp to try to help people to know you should move your car before you get a ticket. So that's my idea, really, in a nutshell. To let me know if you're interested. I've done some groundwork. I've talked to a couple people here. That's really it in a nutshell. It's only for San Francisco, but I think it's a great idea to let you know. How many times have we seen a parking sign and have always misread it, or we couldn't see it, we couldn't find it, and then it costs you $50, $60 every time. So that's my idea, really, in a nutshell. Thank you.
What's the industry coming in to help you?
Well, the data that was released were KML files, which is Google Earth. But I've done a lot of work to actually transform that into a database in which I could serve it as an API layer. So I can serve it up to an XML or JSON, or maybe JSON with padding. So a lot of that groundwork I've done throughout the year. The point now actually is to, let's get into a client. I've created a server layer or API layer that's platform agnostic. So you can create an Android app or a web app or an iPhone app. Here we are at iOSDevCamp. So see what happens, right? Any other questions?
So you would you know when they're coming, and you know where the person is, the client is, and you can push a notification to them.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. That's the idea, right? I mean, your mobile device would tell you should move your car 30 minutes, an hour before, or I usually park on the street. Could you remind me every month that I should be moving my car? I mean, you could postulate so many ideas. I mean, the data tells you if it's holidays or not, which every other day of the week or every other week. What times of the day? Yes.
How often do they change the data?
That's a good question. I don't know. The data I originally got was a year ago. I've used the same. It's been pretty consistent. I mean, the signs in front of my house haven't changed since then. So it's only as you can only be so accurate as the city would release the data. So. But you could consider that if you create this sort of ETL process, right, and you're very consistent at it, that doing an update per se wouldn't be that hard. Thank you for your time.
Hello, my name is Bruce Chu. Raise your hand if you like the game of dodgeball, if you really loved it as a kid and you long to play it again. Okay, I would like to make a team that could make a simulation top-down of the game of dodgeball. And you ask, why the game of dodgeball? Well, I think it's pretty perfect for the iPad because the field is the right size and shape. It's naturally multiplayer. It's multi-touch finger gesture input, and it can be made quite easily. So this might sound like kind of a throwback thing, but if you add enough features, it could be like Dodgeball 3.0, Dodgeball, to the nth power. And honestly, if you do a search, I've never seen any game that simulates the game of dodgeball really well. So if you'd like to help with this endeavor. find me. Thanks.
Hi, we're Chris and Cherie. We are two full-time traveling nomads. We're, I think, the only people who are actually camping here at the iOSDevCamp. Our house is parked out in the west lot right now. And
anyway, one of the problems that we've found as we've traveled around the country is trying to figure out where are we going to get a cell phone coverage signal. And one of the ways we keep online is having multiple cell phone connections for our data internet. And our idea is to have an application that overlays all of the cell phone network coverage maps into one area. So as you're traveling around the country, you can figure out, or even just around town, you can figure out where each cell phone coverage network is going to tell you where you might actually have a chance of having a connection.
right, so imagine you've got a trip to Boise, and you're like, okay, do I have a hope in hell of getting AT&T here? Is it even going to be 3G, or am I going to be at like the little dreaded dot of slow? Or, you know, if we have a Sprint card as well, we know people who carry even a Verizon card. You could plan your trips based on where you have coverage. We're going to build a simple app that just basically we're going to do the graphic design work to take all the coverage maps provided by all the carriers, turn them into graphic overlays, and then you could just basically turn on the overlays just like the radar on a weather app and find out what's the rough chance or no chance in hell of coverage in any place, and all the data will be offline, so you don't need to be connected to do it, because most of the time when you're traveling, you don't necessarily have any connection whatsoever. We need an experienced iOS developer who knows, particularly somebody who might have experience with doing map overlays or image work, and we could also use...
Yeah, we'd also like to have a user-submitted be able to say, I am here and I'm getting a good coverage connection, or I am not. So we need someone who can do a web interface.
Who can do a JSON web service that people can submit their live reports, and they'll appear as dots on the map of like, I'm getting a 3G AT&T here. You'll see the other user-supported stuff. It'd be also nice to maybe have a graphic designer who can help us do the drudge work of taking all the website maps and turning them into unified maps that can overlay on top of each other. So that's what we're looking for. We're Technomadia on Twitter. You can find us around here, and we're also parked in the back parking lot with the fiberglass egg. So, hey, hope somebody can help us out.
Actually, Sally's idea. I started off with wanting to do some scavenger hunting, but she came up with something that was actually more expressive.
So we're going to do a collective howling at the moon app. So you can take your phone out and you can howl, and you can get howls back from other people that are also howling. But there's some video involved, which Warren will explain.
Yeah, so basically you take maybe a video of yourself with the moon in the background. We want to overlay it with other people with a video of the moon. So we need some, obviously some video processing, some maybe some Luma key on the video surface. If you've ever played with that, that's kind of an interesting challenge. Also, maybe using cloud services from Amazon or some server. Actually, if someone has a server, want to donate, because if this becomes really popular, I really don't want to have to pay for this thing. And actually, if you dump back in, that'd be great. And see, I'm sure I'm forgetting something else. What am I?
Must like the moon and want to howl.
Yes, yes. Well, there you go. Any howlers out there who want to join the pack, it'd be great.
Hi everybody, how you doing? Just saying that I love the AT&T ID because I'm an AT&T user. Trying to be an AT&T user because I don't have Signal that much. And I'm really fed up with the advertising when they say 97% of coverage. Are you kidding? I know all the person who are in the 3%. That's amazing. So anyway, the idea that we have basically it's about a better way to display tweets. So now there is an event this weekend called iOSDevCamp, and they put a tweet wall when you can see the tweets if you put the hashtag iOSDevCamp. But basically, it kind of sucked, if I can say that. It's not really that big. You cannot really read what they say. You read from far away from the screen. And also we can do much better, basically, and also using co-animation or all those kind of stuff. So
so you can think about it as Animoto for Twitter. So if you're in a conference, you want to put up like a hashtag and have something play automatically. So instead of the boring list that we have, maybe something like this where you have person's picture is big, the stuff they're saying, maybe some music playing in the background, some cool animations, And we just created this in the last 10 minutes using Keynote. But basically, you get the idea. You have cool stuff basically playing in the background. You don't need to look at a list of small stuff. So we're looking for kick-ass core animation, core graphics.
I'm Tim Burks, and this is Brendan Clavin. I am an iPhone developer, but I spend a lot of time thinking about backends. And I think that one of the best ways to get value as an iPhone developer is to build the backends for the web services that go with our apps. So I'm actually working on an Objective-C-based way to build apps that run in the cloud. And Brendan's specialty is internationalization. And he's got a service that can take apps and internationalize them. You, as a developer, can submit your app, the stuff for your app to him, and he can internationalize it. So we're building kind of a self-internationalizing app. The app is called Telephone, and it's modeled on the telephone game that we played as kids, where you tell someone a secret, and then they tell that secret to someone else, and they tell that secret to someone else. And the catch in our case is that each time a secret's told, it's told in a different language. So you translate from a phrase, let's English to French, French to German, German to Spanish, Spanish to Japanese, back to English, and then we'll compare and see what happened in the round trip. Use that to evaluate the translations. So I've built the start of a web app, and I'm going to turn that into an API. Brendan's specialty is internationalization. And if somebody wants to work on a client with us, that would be great. I could help you with the API and the app. We could do both parts, but I think it'd be great to kind of do this with some other people. Also, if you have apps that you want to internationalize, come work with us and pick up some tips from Brendan on how to internationalize your app.
I'm not a developer, I'm a UI visual designer, and I have a really simple app that I've had in my head that I just thought would be fun to do this weekend. I wanted to design an app that would help lazy people or people that have no time at all to come up with recipes of things that they could make with stuff that they have in the fridge. And whatever it is that they have, and it could be all user-generated content, out in the cloud, or something that they could search. So if I have ketchup and pickles and mustard and that's all I've got, what can I make? So that's kind of what I'm thinking. And I can do graphics. I just need developers and some other really good, inspiring people to come up with some fun ideas for this. So thanks. My name's Karen. My Twitter's @NomadChique, NomadChique. Karen Lee.
Hi, my name is Bennett Smith. If you go look at meatfordrinks.net, you'll see my idea. I'm looking for someone who does mapping, core location type stuff, and also a graphic designer.
Oops. Here on the world clock, what you can see is the time times at different time zones. You've all seen this. Now it says it's 9 o'clock in India. I want to know when it will be 11 o'clock in India. I just want to put my finger there and turn it so it comes to 11, and then I can see the times in all the other time zones. If I can get a developer to.
I have a public transit app for the Bay Area called Transporter on the store right now, and it's kind of a service that takes the next bus service and presents it to users in useful ways. It's free. I suggest you download it if you use public transit in those places. What I want to do is build a real-time trip planner. So I want to go from arbitrary point A to arbitrary point B, tell me which buses to take, and not only that, tell me when they're going to come in real time. And as I travel, let me know any changes to their real-time arrivals as I go. Is the bus coming late? Okay, we'll suggest an alternative. So that as you travel, you're aware of when the buses are going to come, if there are any changes, and we can suggest changes to your trip sort of en route as you go. That's the basic structure of the idea. I have an API already. I have some designs. Coders would be awesome. My name is Luba, LJ, UBA. That's my Twitter handle, and you can find me there. Or talk to me right now.